All right, welcome back to the Couch Live here on Rock100Diz.com. Of course, Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network, and that means WWN and 1470 out of Pompano Beach. How y'all doing? This is the Couch Live. I am the street certified dope Dr. Lui Delgado, along with co-host Denise McLean Solis.
Howdy.
And we talk about all issues related to addiction, and thanks to our sponsor for this YouTube segment, dlmsuccess.usana.com. That's dlmsuccess.usana.com. Go there, get your vitamins, and get your Rev 3, which is what I like to do. I still haven't brought you.
You still haven't brought me any.
Yeah,
No, I'm still waiting on that one.
Typical me. And of course, Capn Chris Hill, you want to throw your face in there somehow or something? We always see your fingers. You know? There you go. All right, so that's Capn Chris Hill, our producer on the show. I'm turning down, I have the AC right behind me, and I love blowing it cold. Anyway, so here we are talking about the Dis-Ease of Addiction. And by the way, that if you heard the last segment or if you've been keeping up with the show, you know what this shirt is. This is the magic shirt. This is the Couch Live yellow shirt that what? Who signed this?
That AJ McLean signed, or as I call him, Alex.
Your son. You also
My
call him son, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My child.
That's right. So Alex, I'm glad that you wore the shirt and signed the shirt. I still think it would have been funnier if you'd have wore the shirt and got TMZ to show you in this shirt. But it is a 2XL, and I'm sorry. Right? Captain's over there saying, fit tight on me. Captain's losing a lot, man. We need to get Captain's picture on this thing, because you're losing a lot of weight. You're looking great, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so fantastic. And so anyway, we're talking about the dis-ease of addiction. Now, do you notice I separated it? Dis-ease. Because we always talk about the disease of it, but the problem with addiction is that it starts not feeling so well. It causes this disruption in your day. This disruption in your mood, your attitude, your goals, and everything about it. But how does it begin? In other words, why would anyone start using, they say, the other people say, the people that are normal, and say that, why would anyone start using, and this is the thing, why do people use drugs and alcohol? Because they work, because exactly whatever you used it for, at first it worked, it did exactly what you wanted it to do, because I can go around the room, like when I do public speaking things, I say, why do people use drugs and alcohol? And you hear all kinds of things, and what are some of the things you think people would throw?
Well, I think it depends on the age you start. Number one, it's
Yes.
experimentation,
Yep.
peer pressure,
Okay.
depression,
Mm-hmm.
stress, just wondering sometimes, what can I do to mask the hurt?
Okay.
Which somebody I got off of actually one of the Facebook reactions was,
What'd they say?
you hide the hurt. It's to cover the hurt.
Okay.
So you're suffering from some issues, some traumatic issues happen in your life, and and you can't cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you turn to something to mask it, either alcohol, drugs, might be weed, it might be something in the beginning that's not so heavy duty, but then that doesn't work after a while, so it progresses to something harder.
Sure.
And that's, to me, now, but I got a question about this,
sure.
because when my son was in rehab,
Uh-huh.
we talked about the whole disease and the addictive personality and that whole thing.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily, to be honest with you, I don't necessarily agree in addictive personality.
Thank you, because I don't at all.
Okay. So but I do. The thing is that when you say a disease and you can control a disease, people tend to not categorize addiction with disease.
Well, I think people that don't really understand it or haven't studied it don't categorize it as disease, but it does have a set of symptoms. It is a progressive and sometimes fatal. So it does meet the criteria for disease, Now, the other thing is that there's no cure for it, because if you used again, back comes the tolerance, back comes some of the symptoms that it had once before. So that's why we say it never goes away. However, I don't believe in addictive personalities, because addicts have all different kinds of personalities. Now, I think there are some personalities that really shouldn't use, because they're already annoying enough or already problematic enough.
Already annoying enough.
Yeah, there's some personalities that are annoying. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, but
all right.
So you think they wouldn't be mellow when they're using them?
Well, it depends on the drug they do.
Okay.
You give somebody that already bugs the crap out of you and give them cocaine, they're not the most peaceful person in the world, right? You give the laziest person some pot, they may not be the most active person in the world, right? So there's some personalities that just don't gel well.
Yeah.
There's some people with anger issues that just really shouldn't drink alcohol.
Right.
They already have anger issues. There's already issues. And you brought something up. You said to cover pain. And that is one of the reasons somebody would use, but it's not the only reason. And this is what I think gets the most addicts out there. I think most people with problems with drugs and alcohol don't have a severe trauma or pain.
Really?
I think the ones that are very vocal about their recovery, I think the ones that are very vocal about their relapses tend to, because it's more dramatic. Because when you have real dramatic pain or chaos or trauma in your life, when you use even more than the normal addict.
Right.
When you have issues with your recovery, it's even harder. It's even more, you struggle even deeper because the issues are deeper. So I think that the bigger your Pandora's box, or the bigger issues that you have inside, your soul, for lack of a better word, or inside your head, I think it could grab those and use those as bigger fuel. However, I think a lot of people that have problems with drug or alcohol did it for other reasons, such as, I call it peer acceptance. You use peer pressure. I call it peer acceptance. That way, we're more responsible.
That is a better term.
Yeah, because peer pressure kind of insinuates that someone went up to you and says, "Hey, you use cocaine, or I'm going to shoot you."
Right.
And it's more like, I like the way it looks. I want to be accepted by these people. It looks cool. Let me do it. You know what I mean? Let me try it out. I'm curious. Yeah. Right. So I like to believe more in peer acceptance, and so you work on these issues. Because all adolescents go through some element of wanting to be accepted. That's the time period where you're usually kind of going through it. Early adolescence, I want to be accepted. Am I the short guy, the fat guy, the tall guy, the white guy, the black guy, the whatever guy, or whatever. And you're going through all this, and through you're going through this, there's different coping skills that you develop. Now, not everybody has an emotional IQ, or better stated, emotional quotient, emotional intelligence to deal with a lot of these things. Why? Because we're not taught emotional intelligence. We're taught IQ. Right? We're taught intellectual capability. We're taught, memorize, what year Christopher Columbus, it's not really his name, and didn't really even ever get here, but memorize the date that supposedly he did and what his name was, right? And then we regurgitate it, and then we're considered intelligent. Yet emotional intelligence is really more important. How do you deal with stress?
Definitely.
How do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and I also think from a parental perspective on that, the more you overprotect your child, the less they have coping skills.
Exactly.
And this I found out with my own son, only because, well, number one, he didn't live really a normal childhood life because he was in the entertainment industry.
Not everybody tours the world at that age?
No, not usually.
I thought so.
but just even going from a regular perspective, and as a single mom, you tend to overprotect. Yeah. Because you're working as both parents. Yeah. So you got to be the good guy and the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So on the good guy side, you overprotect. On the bad guy side, you might dole out some punishment if they do something wrong or whatever. But it's that overprotective nature that causes them not to get the street smarts they need to understand what's going on out there. Yeah. And they're, and a lot of parents, I think, depends on school to teach the kids. Yeah. Again,
you're right about
and I think that's a fallacy, because if they don't learn it at home and you're not a proper role model, then how can you expect your child to be?
Exactly.
And I actually have a recent encounter with a story about that a mother who is an addict, now her son is trying weed and doing this stuff, and of course, how is she going to tell him? She drinks in front of him, does all that. So how are you going to tell this child not to do it?
When you're doing it right in
Exactly.
front of him. Exactly. And I think that's part of the issue. So most people, I think, that are abusing out there, they didn't learn a different way of coping, or how to hang out with friends, or how to deal with situations back then. So use turned into habit, and habit turned into abuse, and abuse can turn to dependence. And I think that lack of understanding the disease part of how this can be a long-term, lifelong issue, should you take it just a little too far. And let me tell you something, you're not going to know when you took it too far. You're the last one that's going to know that you took it too far, because you can't read the meter that's inside your brain that says, oh, you're allowed to have 565 cigarettes before you're addicted, or whatever the number is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, that's the Dis-Ease of Addiction. Again, thanks to AJ for wearing the shirt. Thanks to AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys for wearing the shirt, signing the shirt. One of these days, you'll see it somewhere. We're going to figure out what to do with it. Right? All right. Thanks to you, Denise. Thanks, Capn Chris Hill. Thanks to everybody at WWNN 1470 AM out of Pompano Beach. Of course, Holistic Lifestyles Radio Network. And, of course, our home here, Rock100, Diz.com. This has been The Couch Live. Go to thedopedoctor.com. Go to starbeamcoaching.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, all that. Thank you all very much. We'll be back on The Couch Live right after this.